God calls us to bloom where we've been planted, not wait until we're in the garden of riches and honey and then bloom. It's a humbling moment to hit a lot of your goals within a year and feel the emptiest you've ever been. The vision board is like the 100%, but you need the 1% to show up every day to get those reps and build the momentum. All right, guys. So last episode, we talked about your goal setting and how we can have faith vision, right? The things we covered were one, making sure that you don't have flawed goal setting, making sure that you have a vision, that you have clarity on your goal setting, making sure they're not superficial, and making sure they're not based on fleeting desires. We talked about maybe your problem isn't procrastination, but the placement procrastination. Maybe your problem isn't consistency, but the placement of your consistency. Doing an audit on your life, staying true to what you actually say you desire, right? And then we talked about not wanting to be on a blank canvas, not wanting to start on a blank canvas, not having an all or nothing mentality when it comes to starting. Well, now I'm going to give you some tips for these, right? It's great to talk about it, but it's also great to have some practical tips. Some tips are very much you have to do the introspective deep work. You got to pray. You got to talk to God. You got to get in your Bible. And also some of them are more everyday, can be done, check mark off your box, something you can, a little more tangible in a sense. Reading your Bible is very tangible, but you know what I mean. All right. So tip 1, like I said, some of them are introspective. Tip 1, you want to get clarity from God and learn who you are in his image and his purpose for you. That is important. That is important because one thing about it, I'll give you guys a quick story. I caught myself living my life how I wanted to, and in a sense, you know how God is your solid foundation? Well, he wasn't my foundation. And so everything that I built, self-made, it went faster than it came, right? It just back to back to back to back. This came down, cats came down. And in that moment, it was oh goodness, that year was just awful for me. But that year taught me, the one thing I got from that year was God is a true solid foundation. So you can have goals and dreams, but you want to make sure that they align with his purpose for you. And trust me, if you read your Bible, you know God he is giving you the ability to produce wealth. He can do exceedingly and abundantly more than you could ever imagine, right? He has not given you the spirit of fear, but of love, strength, and sound mind. That sounds good, right? He wants the goodness for you. So don't think, oh, I need to consult God. I need to start talking to God. I need to pray and be in his word, that you're losing something. Don't. Because even though I grew up as a Christian, I grew up very heavy in the church, I kind of lost my way in that year or so. And I felt like if I could consult God, I was going to be stuck in a very small life that wasn't fulfilling to me. Ciao. No. And like I said, everything that I built it left so quickly. And it really felt like playing Jenga on top of a rug and someone ripped the rug under me. Versus playing Jenga on an actual table with super glue. Right? And so that was something that I had to realize, and that's why that is tip number 1, because 1, read his word, build a relationship with him. I'm not as big into religion as I am the relationship with God, and that was something I had to realize once everything came crashing down. It wasn't about religion, it was about my relationship with God. It was about me and my relationship, my walk with him, that really restored me and brought clarity to everything. You need to pray. And all these are building reps of you getting close to God. And it can be done in your own way, shape, or form. Trust me, there's no cookie cutter way. Seriously. Me personally, I do devotion, but I just started reading a chapter a day. And that's something I chose to do, and there's no cookie cutter way of how I do it. Some may say start from the beginning. I popped my book open. I popped that Bible open. I said, oh, Job. Okay. No, I started with Esther. Now I'm on Job, and I'm like, first and foremost, if you've ever read the book of Job, y'all could have told me it was just a book of complaints. He is just complaining. Like, it's okay. It's okay. I'm actually enjoying it though, because it shows me how when I go through trials and tribulation, I'll be like, God, you forgot about me. Like you're so quick to say that. Oh, I'm getting off subject. I'm so sorry. But you want to make sure that your desires are of his will and not of the flesh. Because like I said, I had my desires of the flesh and they left me nothing but wounded, hurt, broken, and a crumbled foundation. I can't, if y'all want an episode on that, I would give it to y'all. But it was not for me, not my cup of tea. It was very great in the moment. It was a very high, but the lowest of lows. And that's just not something I want to go through. And I solely know a lot of it was because I did not lean on God. I didn't consult God. I didn't even think of God. I'll be honest. I was thinking of how I look to others. I was thinking about my flesh. I was thinking about being on top. And yeah, it's a humbling moment to hit a lot of your goals within a year and feel the emptiest you've ever been. So you want to get clarity from God to learn who you are in his image and his purpose for you. So that when you're making goals, you don't take that route that I did. So that when you're making goals, you don't fulfill the desires of society and you're never speaking of who you really are. Because finding out who you are aligns you with God's purpose for you, but also God be like, you don't even like those people. You don't even like doing that. You don't even like that activity. It will show you things like that too. You'll be like, oh, but I keep making desires to be this, whatever you want to call it. And God's like, that's not even who you are. It's not even who you are. Right? So 2, your vision board needs a sidekick. I did this. I told you guys I did a new vision board, like a little mini re-up in July. July? Between July and August. It was June, July. Yeah. And I realized it helped. So we'll do it together closer to the end of the year. But your vision board needs a sidekick. It's so great to have a vision board. Usually your vision board is for the whole year. So it's going to be for 2025. It's going to have out all these things on it, these pictures and these quotes, and it's going to be your North Star, right? Yay, we like that. But you want to have your vision board, and then you want to reinforce it. You want to strengthen it. You know how I know this because a lot of things have fallen on me because I call myself anchoring shells into the wall. But if you don't put the anchor in the wall to support it, and you just drill into the drywall, you're not on a solid foundation. And sometimes a vision board is just drilling into the drywall. Oh, my fiance would be so proud of me right now. Sometimes you need that anchor to reinforce it. So how are we going to reinforce our vision board? By having a goals board or a spreadsheet or something to go alongside with it. You could break it down into quarters. You can break it down however you need to. I do quarters. And then I break my quarters down into my months and weeks. So I have actionable steps to my North Star. Because sometimes it's overwhelming to stand at the bottom of a staircase and look at the top and be like, yeah, that's where I'm going. Right? That's it. That's it. And yes, you can take step by step, but how do you know that you're supposed to take 3 steps a day versus taking 5 steps a day? How do you know? You need to have some actionable steps in place that you can keep measurement, quantitative and qualitative measurements towards your North Star, towards your goal. And so you want to break it down into actionable steps. Because having an overall goal, like I said, is great, but sometimes, like January through March, fine, you're doing it, right? But what about May and June and July when life starts lifing, things get busy, fun things happen? I got engaged in July, but I had actionable steps for goals that I had. So even though in the height of engagement and woo and yeah, fiance, all that, right? I still had my actionable steps, my weekly actionable steps and my monthly milestones that I should be hitting to kind of keep myself accountable. Versus just holding a just this big general vision board in my face and like, yep, that's the goal I'm working towards. Give yourself a map, give yourself a blueprint, okay? And give yourself daily wins to reinforce, because I understand that sometimes taking the 1% steps is hard to overlook. So celebrate your 1%. Give yourself your daily wins. We've talked about this. I have a daily win jar. Give yourself the daily wins, because like I said, it can be a little daunting at times when you do it for 365 days a year, but give yourself those daily wins. But you want to reinforce it. So your vision board needs a sidekick, and we're going to go more we're going to do like a full episode on that, on how I do it, how you should do it. I'm going to give you different ways you can, but the vision board is nice, but you want to break it down, and so you can do that 1% daily. The vision board is like the 100%, but you need the 1% to show up every day to get those reps and build the momentum. 3, obviously, is to do your audit. We talked about it, but this is a tip. So I'm telling you, this is something that you should be doing. Audit. But I did tell you the places that you should audit your life: your mindset, your consumption, your environment, your routine/patterns, your productivity, and your spirituality. All right? Your mindset, obviously. Are you in the mindset of someone who has this goal? Do you have the mindset of your goals? Do you have the mindset of someone who's working towards XYZ? That's something you need to audit. Are you auditing your consumption? Yes, your intake food wise, we want to take care of ourselves, but your consumption spiritually. Your consumption, are you watching too much TV? Are you watching trash TV? Are you listening to negative things? Are you just taking in things that are really hindering you? Me personally, just throwing this out there, I'm very big on my consumption. It's gotten more, there's like more awareness with as I get older, and I'm fine with it. I'm glad my fiance is fine with it too. Before, I could listen to any kind of music. Now, if you talk about any of those things that are not of God, and I'm talking about dealing stuff, pop, 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 all that stuff, I'm sorry, I'm not. Why do I want to listen to this? You're admitting to crimes. Very different from how I was raised and how I listened to music in college and high school. And it's okay. Like, I'm not going to go to someone's event and turn their music off, but I am very mindful not to put myself in those situations. It is what it is. I'm like, why does this man have to tell me about every crime that he committed since 2012? That doesn't mean I don't like rap. Don't get me wrong. That doesn't mean, like, I still listen to secular music, but it's just the in your face, that I can't do it.
Excuse me, can you record me real quick? Can you record me real quick?
Get somebody else to do it.
My concern, I don't watch scary movies. Why would I want that in my eyes? Why? The eyes are the windows of the soul. No. I've always been like that. I've always been scared of them, and I just never believed I wanted to scare myself like that. I want to go to sleep at night. But also, I'm mindful of my consumption in a good way, too. So I'm making sure that I'm consuming. I took a year off Instagram, and I came back, and if it's messy, like blogs, not blogs, Instagram pages, I'm talking about drama, trying to keep up with celebrities, I don't care. And I started following things that are more uplifting and light to me. Successful women, more mobility channels, more things like that. So audit your consumption, because whether you realize it or not, it does take a toll, and sometimes it even leads your steps, right? Order my steps in your. Sorry, that's a song. Your environment. Now, don't do this so much that you say the reason you're not successful is your environment, because sometimes you're in a lease right now, you can't change it, so you have to make do, right? But your environment that you can change. Who are you surrounding yourself around? Where are you going? Your environment. Are you at brunch every Sunday, Friday through Sunday? Are you at the hookah lounge talking about you trying to build a business? Is your environment around people who talk negative on your dreams? Can you just be realistic? Can you, bruh? I know, I understand, but can you just be realistic right now? Like, you have a job, just be happy with that. Your environment, all that stuff has an effect on you. Your environment. Are you around uplifting children of God? Me, I wanted to be around more women of God. So I got into church. I mean, I grew up in church, but I found a church home that I like and I can join small groups. But your environment, audit that. Routines and patterns. Are you the drama? Are you the problem? Are you the reason? You wake up, you say you want to be this gym girly in the morning, drink your juice, whatever the case may be, but your routine is you roll over and scroll on Instagram. Your routine is you wake up in the morning and you already complaining, but you want to have a better uplifting life, but you wake up and already complain how you can't stand your job that you don't clock into for 3 hours. Production is more so your output. So what are you putting out? What are you doing? What are you kind of being in the world? Are you are you the gossip friend? Are you the friend that's always saying, what's the move this weekend? XYZ LMNOP? Audit that. Audit how you are portraying yourself in the world. Is it as the entrepreneur friend? Is it as that business girly? Is it as all these things you have on your vision board? Or is it something completely different? And lastly, spiritually, because I'm telling you, you need that relationship with God. I'm telling you and this is why I didn't put religion, because are you intaking God's word? Are you speaking to God? Are you building a relationship with God? That's all I'm asking in that audit for spiritually. 6, that's it. Right? And the next step is to change your life from a checklist. This helps you from going through the motions of that doing to being. And I gave the example of I'm an aerialist who practice in and outside the gym, correct? I'm someone who takes care of my body a little bit more. I'm more mindful with my body versus, oh, let me go ahead and just do this because there's a thing I need to check off my list. No. I am a podcaster. So the host of Let It Resonate has her journal, always has her journal with her. Is a little more insightful about things because you never know when you're going to get an idea. She's maintaining her equipment, making sure everything is good. She's going through she has a set routine to make sure she's being the best host that she can be, right? Versus I do a podcast. I just press record and go. That's me. Yeah, no. You can't just checklist your life away and think that you'll magically stumble into your best self. Because those transformational changes in your life are never accidental. They're never just, I just woke up and it was like this. They're intentional. Next up is start when you're not ready. Start when you're not ready. Why? I want to let you know something. Come real close. You're planted, you're not buried. So change the outlook of your situation. Change how you look at your situation. You are planted, you're not buried. God calls us to bloom where we've been planted, not wait until we're in the garden of riches and honey and then bloom. You are planted, not buried. So you want to start with where you are. For me, when I started a podcast, the only thing I bought was this mic. I was recording on my phone. I bought this mic, and when I actually went to Best Buy, and I think I had like a $500 mic in my hand, and just so happened the guy that worked there was also a podcaster, and he was like, come here, don't do that. He was like, this will last you a long time. This baby right here will last you a long time, and you don't have to put that much in. He was like, you do not have to start off as a professional. And then he showed me his podcast. He's a professional. Of course I took his advice, right? So I started with what I had. This is what I had in my phone. That's it. We was going. I had a journal that I already had, and we called it that. And you want to stack your experiences, your skills, and your lessons. That way you're not starting from zero. You're not. You're starting from a different place that you probably thought you would, but you're not starting from zero, which is beautiful. And like I said, here's the example. Use ChatGPT to list them out and ask if you need help finding the clarity, seeing everything that you have, putting it down into like a condensed thing, just list it out and be like, hey, like, how are my experiences, my lessons, my goals, my skills, how is it going to be beneficial in this life of entrepreneurship, in this life of pursuing law, in this life of pursuing XYZ LMNOP? It'll lay it out. And I was like, oh, I can put all this stuff on my resume. Wow, this is nice, right? And so start from where you are, because where you are has a lot. And you probably have a lot to say and a lot that can help people or help yourself in a way of getting you through a door. You just don't realize it. You just don't think it's relevant. And take imperfect action. You want to think about progress over perfection because reps aren't pretty. Think about all the pictures of Think about the picture of Kobe in the gym in his pajamas when he was sick. That's not pretty. There's no flashing lights, but those are reps. Reps aren't pretty, but they build the dream. Right? And lastly, guys, I want you to shift from a result focus to process focus. And I don't have too much to say on this. It's just instead of just thinking about the big 100% vision board, look at the sidekick, the actionable steps that you're taking when you break it down from month to weekly to daily wins, right? You want to think about that way because guess what? Roots grow down before they grow up. So you want to be so invested in the deep work that you're doing. The flower will bud, but you want to make sure that your roots are actually nourished and you're taking care of them and they're taking root, right? You're building the actual momentum and things of that nature. You're building the skills and the lessons and the wins and the reps to achieve this goal, right? So you want to change your mindset from goal-based to process-based because the process is usually what you're seeing right before you. And sometimes it's really hard to get lost and overwhelmed when you're just looking at the big thing and shining lights versus you're just looking at the 1% step daily win that you have to take today. And your reps will add up. All right? As always, guys, I intend this episode finds you well. Until next time, you have an absolutely beautiful week. Your journal prompts are either in the description or at the end of this video. Go ahead and fill them out, work on them. And until next week, have a wonderful, wonderful week. And may one thing have resonate with you.